Hey guys, welcome back to Exit 45. So today we're getting back on the Thunderbird. I know we've on and off. I've been struggling with a few things, and my other car really needed a lot of work here to keep it reliable. So I've kind of had to jump back and forth a little bit. But that's not your problem. That's mine. Anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to jump on the Thunderbird and get up underneath the hood. And I'd like to start cleaning it up. And the first thing we're going to do in today's video will be removing the old clunky pressure regulator that I had installed, this monstrosity, and all the fuel lines that went with it. And I'm going to replace it with a Edelbrock deadhead pressure regulator, and I will show you all that as we get to it. All right, so let's get after it. I don't like this monstrosity sitting here. Don't have a lot of room anywhere on the firewall. It's kind of a mess already back there. So I've got this this kit from Edelbrock, and it's just it's set at the pressure that the system needs, and I'm going to hook it directly to the fuel rail. So this is going to simplify things in here a whole lot. You know, hose that runs all the way over to here, comes in, you got a return line that runs way back around, then you got this hose coming around over to here. So anything I can do to remove as much as possible and keep it clean, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so let's first things first, this has got to all come off. Okay, here we go. Let me give you an update on where I'm at with the fuel system. So I've stripped pretty much everything off of it. You can see the old regulator's gone. You can see I got it all off here. And I'm going to, I got the fan on. I got the fan on here, so I am trying to pull all these gas fumes out. Since I broke the system, it's, you know, dumping some gas here and there. So a lot of fumes in here, so I'm going to vacate for a little bit, let this air out for safety purposes, and then I will be right back to get started on this. I removed the line that went from one rail to the other on the back side here, and I'm going to be replacing it with this one right here. So that's going to come off of the sending unit here, and then I put a, I'll show you here, it's like a 45 that's just going to shoot right down through that hole right here. There it is. And then I'll just cut this to length, and that'll be a nice clean fuel routing right there. So so that's where I'm at. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll be getting that cut. Okay, we've got our new crossover line built, and we can go ahead and install that from one rail to the other now. Go. This one over here. All right, there you go. Got our sending unit. We're going from this side, and we're doing a pretty good job of avoiding everything, and it's nice and neat and clean looking. And then there you go to this side. All right, so now we have to address the back side of the rails. Line in, pressure regulator, and line out. And just so you guys know, this is the pressure regulator that I'm using from Edelbrock, just so you guys know which one I'm using. And there's the directions that I'll be following. All right, so there you go. Well, here's our deadhead fuel pressure regulator. And so to get this started, this fitting that comes with it goes on the end, just like that. And I got some grease, if you can see it on there, because there's an O-ring down in there. So we want to make sure that that's, and then we can tighten that on there, just like that. So I'll get that tight. All right, we got her tightened on there, so we're good there. Now we're going to get ready to install this. And this is what's going to install down here on the fuel rail. Okay, there's an O-ring. That will go on there. Okay, I'm going to put a little dab of grease on the O-ring. There we go. And then this ring right here goes on, just like that. And then we can screw that in. All right. All right, let me get a wrench for that. We'll tighten that up on there. All right. That's snug down. All right, so the next thing, we got this unit together. There's an O-ring right here. You can see, there you go. Get back in there. All right, there's an O-ring. All right, and that's gonna go up inside of here. And then this piece right here that spins, it's threaded for this bolt. And then you're gonna go through there and into there. So that's how this will go together. So slide that on, just like that. You see how that goes? All right, so there you go. And this here swivels, and that allows you to put this wherever you want it. I think for now, I'm gonna go ahead and settle right here and see how my lines work. And this just screws into there. You cinch it down and that holds it all in place. Just like that. All right, so the next thing I'll need to do is I need to run my vacuum and get hooked up for my fuel return. Okay, so I got my fuel line, or my fuel return line, run right where I need it. I'm going to tighten all this up. I haven't tightened that up. I haven't tightened this up, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten all that up, and then bring you right back. Okay, we need to run some vacuum to this end of the regulator. So we'll just come off of the intake here. We're going to run it along the fuel rail to here. And when I dress everything out, I'll just kind of zip tie all this up nice and neat. So the only thing left to do now is go to the other side of the engine, and we need to hook up the fuel pressure line to the other side of the rail by the firewall. So let's get after that. There we go. First thing we're going to do is get the adapter into the fuel rail. So we'll get that tightened up in there. I really can't. With this big bulky wrench, I can't get on it. I'm going to I just got 2 bolts back here. I can pop this and move it out of the way just a little bit, and that'll give me a little bit more access to that. So let me do that. All right, so I got that out of the way now. I should be able to okay, that's tight there. And then we're going to put the filter on next. We're going to do like a zigzag here is what we're going to do. So this is going to go on here like this. And then this is just going to go just like you see it. And my fuel line here, now from the tank, there's my cut mark. We'll go just like that. So I'm going to have to make a cut here and get all that hooked together. And I'm going to use a hand hacksaw here and try to keep my debris inside of there minimal. So let me get that cut. Kind of not as clean a cut as I'd like. Okay, not the prettiest cut in the world. Hopefully this will seal and I don't have to go back and use the grinder. Okay. All right, looks like we got it all the way in. All right, so the next thing I need to do, I took this back off. I'm gonna put a little grease on here and we're gonna put that together. All right, there we go. Uh-oh. feel like I'm pushing it back out. I figured this is going to be a pain. All right, let's try this again. Okay, we got it. We got a lot of frayed ends here, but I can't pull this thing out. It's tight in there. So we're gonna hope that that seals up. All right, I'm gonna hook it up now and see what we got. All right, we'll rehook this back up to the fuel line, get that snugged up. All right, there we go. Okay, so real quick overview before I put the power back on this thing and see if we don't have any leaks or not. Lines are coming in here and leaving. So we come up here, we're going fuel in to the fuel rail through our fuel filter. And then we got our crossover tube all the way over to the other side to the fuel rail. And then as you come around to this side, we have our deadhead pressure regulator preset at 58 psi by Edelbrock. And our fuel return is set right there, and we have our vacuum hooked up. All right, so it looks like the system is put back together. I'm going to go ahead and resecure my throttle cable there just to not have that flopping around, and then we'll put power to it and test it out. Okay, I just put some pressure to it and looking for any leaks. So far we are dry. Yep, we're dry over there, and we're dry here, 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 here. Now I shut the pressure off just to build up some pressure and then let it see what it'll do. Now let me go ahead and let it fully pressurize. Okay, here we are again, fully pressurized. No leaks there, no leaks here, no leaks there. I guess we got it done. All right, guys, well, there it is. That's how you can remove the old ugly octopus pressure regulator that you have, and you can put a deadhead on your fuel rail. And look how much it's cleaned it up in here. I had all kinds of hoses over here. I had more fuel hoses in here than anything else, and now I don't have hardly any. I have my crossover tube, my return line that just goes there and then to the back of the car, and then my pressure, which is even shorter, and it runs over to there. So yeah, this is a much better way of doing this. You just have so much less clutter in here. You have less fuel line in here. So anyway, I wanted to share this with you, you know, as far as cleaning this engine bay up. And this is just one step that's going to be done. I will be doing other things, but I wanted to separate this out so that people could see this, and I will title it so you guys can search it. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, but we've got a good fuel system again and a lot less clutter. So I appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one.